download. And do we have transcripts? Oh, we don't have transcripts on the Zoom. I'll have to switch that setting on for the next one, Anna, just in case someone needs to watch it in like silent mode.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull
note that.
this up. How's everyone doing? Thumbs up. I love a good thumbs up. I'm just gonna pull up something here on my computer so I can share my screen. Anna and I have just been having a meeting here, so we've been talking about so many things. We're so excited to share so many things with you. Okay, find my Healy folder. Here we are. Christy, is Carl gonna come out and hang out with Rob next fall?
Yvonne says he's in too, so we got mandates going.
Yeah, I think Rob just accidentally turned himself into a hunting guide now.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny. Okay, I'm gonna share, actually, I'm not gonna share my screen yet. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preface here about what I'm going to share with you. So hopefully we get some more folks on this call, but I don't want to wait. So I'm just gonna dive right in. For those of you that don't know me or haven't worked with me before, by trade, I am a digital business strategist for simplification purposes. I help online service-based entrepreneurs be able to take their services to market authentically and sell with simplicity in order to create different streams of income into their household, so they're not reliant on just one, and able to then therefore enact more choice in their life. So this is kind of my wheelhouse. Actually, not even kind of, this is my wheelhouse. So when Anna approached me with Healy, I had kind of always thought in the back of my mind, thinking back to my network marketing days years prior, thinking, man, if I were to ever get back into network marketing, the things I would do differently, knowing what I know now, you know, having 5 years of entrepreneurship under my belt, and just really reflecting on how I operated in my network marketing business, and how I would do things oh so differently. So I am a big time network marketing consumer. Most of the things that get shipped to my house are usually from someone's network marketing business. And I'm a huge advocate for the network marketing industry because I think it's brilliant. Because it takes the construction and the liability and the responsibility that ownership of business brings to the table out of the equation, because someone else has already built the business, someone else has developed the processes, someone else has created the product. Our job as distributors or representatives, whatever term you want to use, is to simply connect people with the product, and for those who are building businesses, support those people to be able to connect their people with the product. So the thing that I've really observed in network marketing, both from a network marketer's perspective as well as a network marketing consumer user, product user, is the way in which we radically overcomplicate things that don't need to be complicated in order for us to either have a really positive experience as a product user and just simply using the product or the foods or the Healy devices, whatever it is you're purchasing in a network marketing business. And then more importantly, when you are engaging in a network marketing business building adventure, can you do that with ease and simplicity so that you stay in it over the long term? And I would love to try and find some sort of industry statistics of, you know, what is the average length of time that someone actually tries to build a network marketing business? Because I know in my gut, without having to see any statistics, that the majority of people will leave a network marketing business or just stop trying and just fall back to continuing to enjoy the product that they came in for, simply because they're spinning their wheels on things that don't really matter. What they're doing or what they're putting their time and energy into isn't actually gaining any traction, and they get frustrated. And the whole conversation of, is it worth it for me to continue to engage in my Healy business if I'm not getting out what I thought that I would based on what I'm putting in? So just really thinking about network marketing and what makes network marketers successful, it is simplicity and duplicatability. And when Anna approached me about Healy, I was a hell yes. I'm a say yes now, figured out later person. And it serves me very well in my own entrepreneurial endeavors, but really reflecting on what that means in network marketing. If I'm bringing people into a network marketing business opportunity, I need to ensure that I'm leading by example, so that whatever my people are seeing me do is something that they can easily say, I can do that too, and therefore I will, and just keep that chain going, so that we're not reinventing the wheel and playing like this really wicked game of broken telephone of like information and resources and piecemeal stuff here and there. And that's not to say that business builders don't have their own flair and way of branding themselves. And Anna and I were laughing about this earlier because I was out, obviously, if you guys watched my Instagram stories last night, we had a big hunting expedition here in our household. And I said to Anna, I said, my brand is like just me and my existence and in the woods and my simple homesteading life. And I shared that I was using the muscle frequency program on Rob last night, and just me sharing that after I had shared blood and guts and gore and all sorts of things on my feed, I had a whole bunch of people coming into my DMs wanting to know more about Healy, because we were using Healy to support Rob after his hunting expedition. So the way in which we brand ourselves and approach these conversations and share the Healy opportunity will always be 100% unique and authentic to each individual based on who they are, what their brand is, how they show up, how they thrive, and just driving connection and having conversation with people. That can never be any different. Like, you are you, and you got to show up in the way that makes the most sense for you, whether digitally or live in person, having conversations with human beings standing in front of you. And the thing that happens in the background, the thing that needs to happen in the background, is the duplicatability of everything. So once I have someone say, hey, I saw your story about your husband using the muscle program last night, I'd love to know more information about Healy. It's at that point that we need to start having some sort of congruency from network marketer to network marketer on the Frequency Collective team, because that is what will drive quantum growth in the business. So how we show up outward facing is all about us and our own authenticity, our own language, the words that we choose to use, the events that we choose to leverage in order to maximize the ways in which we're sharing the Healy opportunity. But then boom, behind the scenes, we click into a system that starts to make things easy for people to just flow into. So when I first came on board with Anna, I said, all right, if I'm going to do this business, we got to have some sort of framework, because I know that if I were to commit to a network marketing opportunity again, especially something that I'm so fiercely aligned with, this is going to be huge. And therefore, we need to make sure that we have some sort of process in place. So that's what triggered us to create, I'll call it 1.0 onboarding system. And then a month into the business and all sorts of crazy things happening in the background on my end, I'm just going to let these couple folks in here. Really just kind of sitting back and observing what's happening in the Circle community, and paying attention to the questions that people are asking in Circle, paying attention to the questions that my enrollments are asking me in my DMs or sending me emails about, and really just thinking and reflecting on how do we make this easier for people? What is the next level that we can take this process to? And how do we make sure that everything that we are doing is sourced directly from Healy, as opposed to kind of, this person has a really great presentation over here, and there's a really awesome video over here, and this booklet that someone made up over here is really great. And they are really fabulous resources, but we can see, if we're really honest with ourselves, how that's contributing to slightly different information, just like microbit by microbit by microbit. And I started to feel very, very passionate about, we got to get source directly from Healy Corporate. Anything that we're sharing, it needs to be easily sourced. It needs to be easily duplicatable so that people can just grab and go, click and play, plug and play, and be able to support their business growth in that regard, which also helps us stay focused on the things that really count, as opposed to feeling like we have to reinvent the wheel and create all these things and spend so much time answering questions that are way better suited for physicists and scientists that no, that's not me. But I can absolutely point you in the direction of exactly where to find that information from Healy Corporate and source that information and be able to send it. So I just wanted to plug that at the beginning of this call, because we are going to be rolling out the 2.0 process to the entire Frequency Collective team. My team has just started to be integrated into the new Healy 2.0 onboarding system. So if you're on my team, I sent out an email a couple of days ago saying, hey, I'm going to be putting you back into an onboarding sequence just for a couple of reasons. One, you're going to learn so much, because I went through the entire back office for hours and hours and hours. And I found absolutely everything that we need in order to properly onboard someone with all of the information that they need with 100% accuracy, that this is the right information for you. And then therefore you are seeing an example of how to onboard someone. So if you are bringing someone onto your team, you can do the exact same thing, literally by copying and pasting the emails that I'm sending out, so that you don't have to send like, hey, also, I got a new Healy customer. What do I say to them? What do I do? What do I send them? You don't have to think about that anymore. Stay focused on a system that works and points people into the exact precise direction that they need in order to have the best onboarding experience, be able to have access to the best information, and feel really confident in the information that they're being delivered, so that there's no wondering. It's like, okay, is this actually real information that we have here? It's great, it's wonderful, it's helpful, but is this it? Is this something that I now feel confident in sharing with other people if I don't really know where the source of this information is? So that was my whole big project over the last several days, is really just cleaning that up. And we have also translated that into the Circle community in the links resources section. We took out all the kind of man-made network marketer created content, replaced it with the Healy Corporate Academy, the Healy Corporate Downloads, the Healy Corporate FAQ, the Healy Corporate Resource and Support Center, the Healy Corporate Device Training videos, the Healy Corporate App Training videos, and all of this other magic, the coaching module training videos. There's so much there that we were 100% underutilizing and not leveraging at all. So that's what's kind of coming down the pipeline. And I just wanted to share that with you before I dive into the workshop that I have for you today, because they kind of go hand in hand. I'm the type of business person and an entrepreneur that wants to have everything done as efficiently as humanly possible, with as much confidence, with as much empowerment, with as much ease, because those are the things that really greatly contribute to a person's success. When things start to feel unnecessarily complicated, or when we are spending way too much time on things that aren't actually moving the needle, but they make us feel good. We're being productive in our Healy business today, but it's like, are you though? Like, has anyone actually gotten a device from you this week? Are you actually producing results, or are you just kind of doing the pat on the back things that make us feel like we're being a Healy business builder? It could be for no other reason than I just really didn't even pay too much attention to the type of business activities that I was spending my time on, and whether or not they're actually working for me, or whether or not I'm wasting my time and might need to just have an honest conversation with myself. So these two topics go hand in hand, because if we're going to be serious business builders when it comes to our Healy businesses specifically, we need to make sure that we're not spending time on fluff. We need to make sure that we have a really bulletproof system that we can just plug people into without having to spend a significant amount of time onboarding people into the Healy experience. Because if that's going to be an experience that you're having, bringing someone onto your Healy business, and you're like, well, how am I going to bring anyone else on if I'm already spending all this time here with these new people? It's going to prevent you from wanting to build your team even more. And this happened to me, guys. In my first month, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, Anna, like there's so many people coming in. I need to make sure that I am being hyper strategic with how I'm spending my time and how I'm providing information and resources to my team. Because if I'm spending all of my time doing this, I'm not going to want to keep building my Healy business. It's not working. There's a disconnect there. So all of this kind of all feeds each other, which is kind of why it's gone like kaboom, and we're bringing it all to the team now. So my team's already rolling out with this new process. So if you are on my team and you're like, we're going through an onboarding system again, even though you've had your Healy device maybe now for a few weeks, we're going to do it again. If people are simply a device user, the things you're going to learn about this beautiful little device is going to blow your mind when you actually spend some time on these resources and just get really confident with what this device can do, and really maximize your confidence with it, because that only helps you as a business builder. When people start asking questions, you're like, I don't really know. I just know that it works. Sometimes that can work as a selling feature. Most of the time, it probably won't. So, in order to be able to just bolster everybody with confidence, we're putting you through the onboarding sequence all over again. My team has been emailed out being like, you're getting this whole sequence of 8 emails again, and here's why. So, from a business builder standpoint, again, showing you by example how to onboard people, equip people with all the information they need so that you don't feel as though you're tied down. Because the reality is, this is a quantum entrepreneurship opportunity. I have never experienced anything like this in my life. And I am a serial entrepreneur. I launch things all the time. I'm a highly successful entrepreneur. I did not need to do this for income. This was something that I was so compelled to take part in because it felt so aligned for me. And this is the fastest I have ever started up a business before, and got it to the income level that I never even would have thought possible in month 1 of any type of business, let alone a network marketing business. So I can see the absolute ability for Healy to radically change people's lives by not just the health aspect of Healy, but the wealth opportunity that exists within Healy is unlike anything I've ever seen in a network marketing business before. So my goal now, and I hit like next level fire as soon as my Healy wallet was loaded at the end of the month. I'm like, we need more people to understand what we're actually dealing with here, because this is life changing. This isn't just an opportunity to have an extra couple $100 coming in, although when it does, be grateful for it. Thank you, amazing. But this can change lives radically. My husband's about ready to just be like, I'm out, I'm retiring, because we don't need to do this crazy 9 to 5 stuff anymore, right? And I want more people to experience this. I want more people to have that type of financial freedom, and just have more choice in their lives. Like, that's what I do before Healy. So now Healy shows up. I'm like, oh my God. So now we have the ability for people to monetize their mind, which is what I help people do. And it's like, man, there's also an amazing network marketing opportunity here that just blows them all out of the water. So my job, hi Stacy, is to help people stay focused on the things that count, the things that move the needle, and have the courage to say, that's probably not super important, and have an honest conversation with ourselves of why we think we have to do those things. And a lot of that is driven by what we're observing, usually online, when we see people engaging in their network marketing business or their service-based business, whatever it is they're selling online. Subconsciously, we're taking in those observations and turning them into truth about how we need to run a business. But the reality is that's a lie, because what that person may be doing in their business maybe entirely irrelevant for what you need to be doing in your business. But the thing that I'm going to be training on today, because I could quite literally talk about this for days on end and not run out of things to talk about. What I'm talking about today is income producing activities. And I just trained on this yesterday in my MYM group too. We just touched on it a little bit, because this is the area that whether you're a new business builder or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, there is 100% of the time an opportunity to analyze and audit the activities that you're actually giving your energy to in your business and either say, yes, this is working, or no, it is not. And the problem that entrepreneurs run into is that you actually don't know whether something's working or something isn't, because there's no form of measurability to the tasks that you're engaging in. So what I do in my business, and I've been doing this so long that it's just how I operate in my business now, no different than I drink water every day. I make sure I eat and I make sure I sleep and I make sure that my income producing activities are deployed. Like those are the hierarchy of my priorities in my life. Everything else gets scheduled after those things. But here's what's happening in the world of entrepreneurship is we gravitate towards the things that make us feel good. We gravitate towards the things that make us feel productive. We gravitate towards the things that we're comfortable with in our business, that give us a little bit of falsehood about whether or not we're actually really going all in our business endeavors and driving our sales. So when all of a sudden we put a hyper focus on, okay, well, are we actually identifying what are my income producing activities? What are the initiatives in my business that actually make more money come into my bank account? All of a sudden it becomes a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, because we're like, oh, I spent 16 hours doing things that actually have nothing to do with more money coming into my bank account and helping more people get started with this opportunity. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. And just want to know before I get started here, I know that I can only see a couple of your faces on the screen. So if you're not on the screen, if you could just like put your hand emoji up. Has anyone here read the book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution by Stephen Covey? Knows? Also known as 4DX. Maybe that might sound familiar. If not, all good. So this is actually a concept that I learned when I was in corporate. So prior to me jumping into entrepreneurship, the 4 Disciplines of Execution was actually guiding principles for us when we were working in retail pharmacy. A story for another day. And this is something that when I left corporate and got into entrepreneurship, I realized entrepreneurs were not leveraging. And the one principle that this is from the book of the 4 Disciplines of Execution is keeping a compelling scorecard. And the purpose of keeping a compelling scorecard is to help you understand whether or not you are winning or losing. And if you're not measuring anything, then how do you know? You're just assuming, right? You're just assuming that, well, I think my business is doing okay. Maybe you brought in $5,000 for the month, but what are you measuring that up against? What if there was a particular income producing activity that if you just went all in on that income producing activity, that $5,000 could turn into a $20,000 month? What if you actually had something that helps you understand, why are you spending so much time doing this thing that you think you have to be doing? Because this is what network marketers do. This is what other Healy people are doing. This is what digital entrepreneurs are doing. And you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it. And you're burning so much time, so much energy, and it's not actually producing any results. Can you say with confidence that is not working if you are not measuring it? So you don't actually know if you're winning or losing if there's no measurability behind what you're doing. So if you haven't got the vibe from me, I have a very healthy, masculine, energetic approach to business. And my goal, personal goal over the last several years, is to make sure that my feminine entrepreneurial energy is just as healthy as my masculine, because old me was like, masculine to the point of like self-destruction, body inflammation, all the things, just a constant machine, and not a lot of flow and not a lot of space and not a lot of time and pause and rest and all those things. So that's been a big journey for me, is to find the beautiful marriage of the masculine and feminine. But what I have found is that my feminine is safe to come out when my masculine provides her with structure. So my job here in the Healy team is to help provide structure so that we can ease and flow our way in and out of our business without friction, without literally standing in the way of abundance, because abundance is already here. It's already right in front of us. The reason why people don't have access to it is because we're standing in front of it. We're overcomplicating things. We are, losing belief in things. We are not believing in ourselves. We are making things more complicated than they need to be. And it just creates a big energetic block when it comes to the law of attraction. So while this may seem like a super masculine structured thing to do, I want to preface this by saying this is what allows you more space and time and fluidity in your business to be able to focus on the things that you love, market the way that you love, connect with people the way that you love, rest when you need to because you have a plan in place, and things of that nature. So I'm going to be showing with you. Don't have a conniption fit when I say this is an Excel spreadsheet. You don't have to use an Excel spreadsheet. This is just for the purpose of illustrating this scorecard. You can use big, beautiful whiteboards. You can use colored Post-it notes and Bristol boards, like whatever is going to help you have the visual and the pulse on your business that you need in order to stay focused on what's actually driving your income. When it comes to this, could even be something that, like, you have a notebook, you have that beautiful special notebook, write it down in your notebook. This does not need to be formally structured on a Healy scorecard. However, those of you that are in the business of Healy, is there anyone here that does not have access to the Quantum Solutions business training portal before I go in? Anyone here? Everyone's in? Okay, good. Oh no, Christy's not here. That was an old question. Okay, so everyone has access. This Excel spreadsheet is in there for you guys as well. So you can take this and pull it up on your screen, and you can either use this, like download the Excel spreadsheet right to your computer if you like this style, or create something on your own that feels more aligned with you, and know that you are going to pay more attention to it if it's done in your way, because Excel spreadsheets are not everybody's vibe. Not everyone gets excited about spreadsheets like I do. Okay, so Stacy saying, I'm not sure. Katya, I'm not sure too. So this is something, Stacy, are you on my team or are you on Anna's? Who did you come in with? Katya, you came in with me. So in your welcome email, there is a link there for you to click, like a consent basically, for me to start sending you information on how to build your Healy business. And if you click on that, it'll take you to a business portal that has some business training in there. It's just my business coaching brain. That's what I do for a living. So I just created this container for our team. You're with Christy. Okay.
Can I just preface so that they're exactly the same? You're just going through Sarah Swain's Kajabi or Anna Lozano's Kajabi, but the same sequences. So don't worry. Like no FOMO, you're not missing anything. You're getting everything the same. We just structured it that way.
Yeah. So whatever we built in mine, we duplicated it in Anna's. So if we have anyone missing with this, let's circle back with Christy, Anna, and just make sure that we can get Stacy in there, or maybe just get plugged into yours for the sake of getting access to that.
Yeah, so
just so that you.
Yeah, it's the same one because Christy and everyone else is using mine, the Kajabi link. So yeah, we'll make sure you get that link to sign up.
We'll follow up with you, Stacy, to make sure that you have access, because then you have access to this Excel and just really high level fundamental training for that's geared heavily towards network marketing, to make sure that we're staying focused on the things that count. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. And I programmed this. Can everyone see this? Okay, so here is an example of a scorecard. And oh, Chrissy's coming back. This is basically taken right out of Stephen Covey's handbook of how to keep a compelling scorecard. And I'll draw your attention to two key terms here. One is lead measures, the other is lag measures. Lead measures are the activities that you engage in your business that influence your lag measures, aka your results. Okay. The whole theory behind this is that if you set a goal, so say you want to sell 3 Healy devices this week, and say you sold 4. This is, if you use the Excel spreadsheet, this will automatically populate for you to give you like really beautiful visual of like, I hit my target, it's turning green. Or it could be 3 and then 2. And you're like, oh, okay, I got to just repopulate these. These are showing us dollar signs. I'll fix that. It's turning red. So you automatically know you set yourself a target, didn't hit it. We got a big old red box staring in our face. But what we're actually more interested in is not your results. And this is where entrepreneurs tend to focus on is, did I hit my revenue target? Did I close those sales? Did I reach my goals, like whatever it is? And we focus on those end results without actually putting any type of intentionality into, well, what actually created those results, or what blocked me from not getting the results that I need? And without having any type of thought process in that, then we go to the next week without doing anything differently, or without having a pulse on like, why didn't I hit my target last week? Like, why couldn't I close that extra Healy sale? Or why didn't I hit that promotion that I wanted to get to? Maybe you're going from team manager to senior team manager, and you're like, how come I didn't hit that? Like, what the heck is it that I missed? Well, how are we actually supposed to know if we don't know what our income producing activities are, so our lead measures, and B, we're not actually measuring our income producing activities? So I'm just going to go over what I have high level worked through as what would be considered an income producing activity in someone's Healy business. And if you're watching live now, or maybe if you're watching the replay, you may be looking at some of these things being like, I'm not doing any of these things. That's an indicator that maybe that's why you're not producing the results that you want in your Healy business. Or maybe some of you are like, damn, I'm proud of myself. I'm actually doing a pretty good job of engaging in things like this in my Healy business. But this is where we have to have the honest conversation with ourselves, right? Is, am I actually spending my time on the things that matter and move the needle and drive my revenue and help more people get connected to this amazing product? Or am I just doing things that make me feel good and make me feel productive, but aren't actually producing the results that I want? I'm just going to try and change this so that this isn't distracting. Actually, I don't know how to do it. I just don't want it to show up as a dollar sign. It should be a percent. That's 67% to the target. If you got 2 people in and you wanted to get 3, it's showing you were 67% to your goal. Now, let's just say I wanted to rank advanced twice. I did it. And I wanted to help 2 people rank advance on my team, and I did it. And let's just say we've got a green one there. That one I'll have to fix. There's a formula break in here. If our lag measures, our end results are showing this, chances are, guys, that we did a pretty good job up here too. So instead of blowing into the next week or your next Healy month without actually taking time to review with whatever you did it work or did it not? How are you going to expect to produce a different result going into your next business cycle if you're not actually having that conversation? If we just engage in what we did the last month, then we can probably expect to experience similar results. And this can also kick us in the pants on the good end too, because if we're like, yeah, I did really good in my business, and then we do it again, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing because I'm doing really good in my business. What if there's something though, that if you just dialed that one thing up a notch, it radically increased your business? So just as we don't want to repeat a month of activities that aren't actually working, we also don't want to repeat a month where we're not identifying the things that are crushing it in our business and really amplifying our results. And we can't do either of those things if we're not measuring what we're doing. So, an example, CTA, just for those that don't know that term, is a call to action. And if you follow any of us on Instagram, we're doing calls to action all the time, whether we are asking people to respond to a poll, whether we are asking people to click on a link, whether we are asking people to send us a DM, whether we are asking people to book a call with us, whether we are asking people to attend a workshop that we are putting on. Those are all us putting out calls to action. So if we don't have some sort of measurement in place, how do we know if our calls to action are actually helpful or not? So my goal in any of my businesses is always a call to action per day. So no matter what stream of revenue I'm driving, I have a call to action. My goal is 7 days a week. I am talking about something that I am inviting someone to take action on, whether that's a poll, link, workshop, call, DM, send me an email. I'm always on there on my Instagram story saying, here's what I would like you to do right now, right? Now, number of new connections. Can we have an honest conversation with ourselves about how intentional we are with building new connections? Is this something that we are actively going out there and doing outreach for? Or are we just laying back and hoping that everybody just comes to us all the time? I will say, when you have the law of attraction on your side, it's a hell of a lot easier to have people come to you. But we can't solely rely on that 100% of the time. Sometimes we need to say, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with you, or I have an opportunity that I think is absolutely going to blow your mind, or I see this thing that you have been talking about on your feeds for the last several months, and I think I know I have something that can support you with this. Are we being intentional with building out those new connections as opposed to just waiting for everybody to come to us? My new connections goal is usually around 3 per week, depending on the type of business or the stream of revenue that I'm focusing on. When it comes to workshops, Anna and I, again, we're just talking about workshops and how we can support our team with hosting public workshops to plug your people who are interested in, so that we can provide the training, they can connect with you for the sale. So whether that is you physically hosting a workshop yourself or bringing someone to a workshop that's being hosted, is this something that we can get behind? Well, let's just put 1 a week, not 11 a week. That's intense. 1 a week as a goal to say, I'm going to help someone get plugged into something that I know that is going to help them understand this opportunity even more. What this also does is help take a lot of work off of your plate and having to explain things all the time. Workshops attended. Are you actively engaging in either calls like this, or jumping on a Healy corporate event call, or consuming something from Healy back office that's going to help you bolster your confidence and your understanding and your conviction about the product that you are selling? Can we commit to doing that once a week so that we can grow our conviction for our own Healy business and the product? Public relations. This might sound like a big, intimidating phrase, but really all this means is, can I get myself out of my own network and expose myself to someone else's network? Can I get in front of new people? So the ways in which we can do that is podcasts or Instagram lives. Ann and I have been talking about, we got to do more Instagram lives together. Can I write for someone's blog? Can I get invited into someone's Facebook group to do a presentation or like a live interview? Do I have any speaking events that are coming up that is going to help draw more people into my space that I can then turn around and leverage with my Healy business or what other stream of revenue we have going on? can we commit to doing one intentional public relations opportunity on a weekly basis? Again, we're going to get into whether or not which ones of these are going to be effective for you. Follow-ups. There's a big difference, guys, between following up with someone and chasing them. Two different types of energy. Following up is a service. Factually speaking, 80% of sales occur in a follow-up, but 90% of people don't follow up. So that just that statistic alone, how much money are you leaving on the table by not following up because you have a story about it being chase and icky and not a good vibe and you're bothering that person? And how many people are you robbing of an opportunity that would actually really benefit them because you don't want to bother them with the thing that could radically improve their life? So we have a little bit of dialogue work. I could probably do a whole training on follow-up, so I won't get into that now. But can we commit to following up with 2 people that we've had a conversation with about the Healy opportunity? Especially near month end, right? When we know like we have no idea what promotion they're going to give us next month. We don't know if it's going to be extended. So we want to make sure that people aren't missing out on this opportunity. And then sales calls, the last one here. These can be email correspondence, these can be formal Zoom calls, these can be telephone calls, these can be chats in the DMs, like wherever you're engaged in the art of selling a Healy to somebody, that's a sales call. So if we look at, we want to sell 3 Healy devices per week, again, just as an example, and say after some experience, we realize that 1 out of every 2 people we get on a sales call with results in a Healy sale. That means we've got a 50% closing rate. So if we want to close 3 a week, then what does this number have to be? It's got to be 6. The goal is obviously to increase your conversion rate so that you have to get on less calls and have less conversations in order to close those sales. But typically speaking, when someone's starting out in their business, they may even have a closing rate of 10%. 1 out of every 10 people that they actually engage might say yes. And if that's the case, then this number would actually have to be 30. Am I doing my math right? You'd have to have 30 conversations. So obviously the goal is we don't want to have 30 conversations a week, wholly overwhelming. How do we get better at closing sales? That's a whole other training I could do too. So here is now our scorecard, and I will fix some of these broken formulas that I'm seeing in them now before I post about this in the group. So now if we have these cells down here that have turned green, chances are we're probably doing our job when it comes to our income producing activities. But what you may see is that maybe it looks a lot like this, and you still manage to close out and hit your target. There's a couple of things that this could mean now if you're looking at this. Obviously, these initiatives down here, let's just put 6 here. These initiatives here didn't actually, because you didn't engage in those, it didn't actually hinder your results, which means one of 2 things. Either you got to try and put these in place next week to see if you can amplify what you did the past week even better, or maybe you go the entire month with no public relations. You've done a crap job of following up with people, yet you're still crushing your sales goals every single month. Maybe those are not high-powered income producing activities for you and they don't need to be done. Or maybe it's an opportunity for you to figure out, is there an opportunity there for me to do better follow-ups? If what I'm doing right now isn't working, why aren't people responding to me? Is there an opportunity for me to close even more sales if I can enhance my ability to follow up? We don't know any of this, guys, unless we're measuring it. So now if we're here and say our goal is 3 and 2 and 2, and it ends up looking like, oh my God, we went a whole week, we didn't close a single Healy sale. One of my partners ended up, or I got 1 promotion and I didn't help anyone build their business. Chances are if we didn't help anyone build their business, we probably aren't doing a solid job of this one up here. If we're not closing sales, we probably, maybe didn't have enough new connections. Maybe we completely dropped the ball on actively making sure that people know that we have an opportunity for them by engaging in calls to actions on whatever feed or platform that we're operating on. Even if you're not someone who's active on social media, are you inviting people to things? Are you having conversations with people in live time? Are you getting on the phone with people, like kicking it old school and having conversations with human beings as opposed to clicky things on our screens, right? So just because we don't have social media doesn't mean that all of a sudden we forget how we operated as entrepreneurs for the last several centuries before social media existed. So my whole point in saying this is that if you got red squares staring at you in the face, you will absolutely be able to immediately see why you didn't achieve those goals by having an honest conversation with yourself about whether or not you actually engaged in the activities that move the needle in your business that week. What this allows us to do is immediately correct behavior as an entrepreneur before repeating a whole other week without putting any type of intentionality in what didn't work. If we don't know what's not working, we're just going to keep doing the same thing every week without second thought and probably continue to experience the same result, which is the definition of insanity. And we're under leveraging the things that are killing it. So for me, one of my biggest things are these two. The CTAs is a huge, huge income producing activity for me. If I don't engage actively on a regular basis in my calls to action, I will see it in my results. It is undeniable for me. That is my number one income producing activity are my calls to actions. The other one that really, really works for me is PR, me getting into other people's spaces and exposing myself to new people and pulling them into my space. Those are if I only had 2 hours in my week to focus on income producing activities, those are the things that I would go all in on, because I know for certain, because I measure them, that every time I engage in these activities, I crush my results 100% of the time. 100% of the time I don't engage in those activities, my results suffer. The only way I know that is because I measure it, and because nothing else in my business gets scheduled unless my income producing activities are prioritized in my schedule first. So when we look at the results that I've had since I've joined Healy, which is less than 2 months ago, it cannot be denied that I have locked in on my income producing activities. And that's what's driving. I'm not just sitting here and hoping that, people feel this beacon of energy coming out of my Healy device and come knocking on my door asking me why my vibe is so awesome. Like, that's not how this is working. It's because I'm engaging intentionally in income producing activities that are directly affecting my results. Where my opportunity is now, as a result of scorecarding and understanding, like, what is actually bringing people into my Healy business, this one is my biggest opportunity now for November. How do I get more people on my team to build their business and to have success doing it? So that's where now income producing activities are concerned. Prioritizing those things in my schedule have to take precedence in order for me to support my Healy business builders in being able to see that kind of success too. But I won't know what the hell those activities are unless I measure them, and I can correlate this. When I do this down here happens. So if we think about, again, just to kind of circle back to the beginning of the conversation, business builders look at these, right? And it's like we have a big blindfold on for everything up top. We're not paying attention to what actually drove those results or what broke our results. We're just moving on to the next week. We're moving on to the next month and hoping that we're going to get some sort of download on what we should be doing next in order to drive our success. So if we're not actually actively taking a look at what activities we are engaging in our business, we're, for lack of a better phrase, we're flying blind. And we're just kind of hoping that what we're doing is working. We're throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that something sticks. And that's not to say that there's no room for experimentation. But if we're spending all of our time, making Canva graphics or updating websites or building business cards and, hanging out with our Healy for 40 hours a week, but not actually having a conversation with a single soul about this magical experience that we're having right now with this device, how on earth are we expecting these numbers to take care of themselves? So that's the scorecard in a nutshell. Again, if you joined a little bit of the way through, this is something that it doesn't need to be on the scorecard. It doesn't, or this Excel spreadsheet. If Excel spreadsheets give you the heebie-jeebies, I will fix these cells just so that they're obviously populating with percent signs, not dollars, and make sure that the coding is all there for you. Should you choose to use this, it's available for you in your Quantum Solutions business portal. So if you're on Anna's, Christie's, anybody's email onboarding sequence, that link to click into that business opportunity and have access to that is in those emails. If you can't find those emails, then reach out to your upline and we'll get you access to it, but that's where you can find it. But again, you can use this and post-it notes, whiteboards, put it in your journal, wherever it's going to be easy for you to engage in business activities. Like this is where the people who are crushing it are separated from the people who are not, is because they have the ability to say no to spending their time and energy on things that aren't working. And they have the ability to say yes to prioritizing the things that are. And they can do that with certainty and a whole lot of trust because they have measurable results that are staring them in the face that says, hey, whenever you do this activity, your revenue is growing like crazy. So do not take your foot off the gas. In fact, double down. Double your goal for that activity next week and see if it influences your revenue. If every time you get on someone's podcast, all of a sudden you get a huge influx in sales, then maybe instead of just having one podcast scheduled for the week, you should probably start trying to get on two, because you know that I just need to be exposed to people. And if I can get exposed to people, it's going to influence my results in the way that I want them. Or maybe for you, it is just follow-ups. You're completely shit in the bed on following up with people and not actually prioritizing that in your schedule because you don't want to bother anyone. But the moment you're like, okay, I'm just going to give myself a goal, I'm going to follow up with 2 people this week, give yourself the opportunity to see if that influences your results. If all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I had 2 more Healy sales this week. Interesting. I engaged in 2 follow-ups this week too. That's a sign that that's a powerful income producing activity for you that you don't want to let slide and that you got to force yourself into getting more comfortable and confident in doing because it's making a difference in your bottom line. So that's the scorecard. I'd love to open it up for any questions here. I'm just going to check in with the chat. Anna, does this have to be live or replays count too? What do you mean? Do you want to unmute yourself?
Oh, it was when you were talking about the workshops. So workshops attended, workshops hosted, invited.
Yeah.
Do you want live only or do replays count?
I would absolutely say replays count as long as that person's plugged into receiving the information that's going to entice them to jump into the opportunity. Live is always going to be best, like, because that's where the live energy exchange is, and people feel a live experience much differently than they do a recording. But I would never discount someone getting on a replay. So if we have replays that we can send out to people saying, I got to get you to watch this workshop that someone on my team did this week, it just completely blew me away. Have that person plug in and watch that replay. Just if you feel like that's going to be the thing that really connects them to what we're dealing with here with Healy in a way that's going to excite them about taking part in it. Yeah, replays can be super powerful too, for sure. Awesome, Renat. Yeah, clarity on what action makes the most difference. It's so simple. Yet it's so overlooked. Like this is literally all it is. It's like, let's just get clear on what we're actually spending our time on and whether or not it's actually helping us move the needle. And what I love about uh, this is actually something that we start off with. If I'm ever working with someone privately in my coaching business and supporting them in their business, like we start with this. And almost 100% of the time when I ask them the question, are these things prioritized in your schedule every week? The answer is no, which can be great news because that means that the opportunity is massive. If we can just make even just one shift per week and just start slowly getting ourselves into a new habit of don't ever let myself forget to put out a call to action. Don't ever let myself feel as though time spent on my Instagram account is not worth it because I'm building new connections there. I'm having amazing conversations in that space. Therefore, my Instagram account is strategically given a huge amount of time in my work week every week. It's not just a place where I'm pumping out content, doing silly things. I'm in there building my business, but we have a dialogue about, oh, we shouldn't be spending this much time on our social media, right? Like that's not all of my people are on my Instagram account. If I were to discount the power that my Instagram account has when it comes to building my business, I wouldn't have business. So my Instagram account is one of my like most prized places when it comes to engaging in my income producing activities. We also know workshops, powerful. So Anne and I were talking about how do we get more guest workshops going that we can invite the public to, that our teams can invite their leads to. Because when we did Exit the Matrix, was that in September, Anna?
Yeah.
Hundreds of people signed up to
I
come
think
to
you
them.
had like close to 500 registered.
I had 500 people come in just from my space. So we know it's like, that's significant. We have to make sure that this is a regular income producing activity on our team that we can host and you guys bring your people to. Let's say, hey, my team's hosting an event. Here's the access. At the end of those workshops, our segue will always be whoever invited you into this workshop, connect with them now to get started with Healy. So we're pushing them back to you to close those sales. So this is something we were talking about today. How do we get a more regular cadence of workshops flowing from the public standpoint that we can plug our team into, they can plug their leads into, and we can support them in reducing the time and energy it takes to close those sales by providing information in a 40-minute time slot that also helps people feel the energy that we're dealing with and the excitement that we have on our team and the opportunity that we're working with. But again, measuring these things. I'm excited, Anna, because when we were talking about getting into these workshops, like if we plug these workshops into a scorecard like this, I want to know what is this actually doing for our businesses, for our team's businesses when we engage in those workshops versus when we don't. There's no doubt in my mind that there's a direct correlation between the leg and that specific lead measure for team building.
And Sarah, can you just, because I think what we have available to our team from like an automated systems and structure standpoint is what is differentiating us as a collective. And also what is allowing us, which you said at the beginning, to experience these quantum leaps. So can you let the ladies know too, the structures in place for these even guest webinars, right? Because there's the emails that are automated that are working for you as soon as you click register.
Oh yeah, and this is, again, my wheelhouse is automating things so that there has to be less of us involved so that we can focus on income producing activities, go talk to human beings, have beautiful conversations, make sure that people know the opportunity that you're working with. This new age of entrepreneurship has forgotten that in order for a sale to occur, there needs to be a human being. So when we have things automated and systems created for not just ourselves, but for our teams, it makes everything so much easier for you to plug your people into what we're doing. So The next time we host a workshop, whether it's Anna and Christy or Shay and I, or all of us together, there will always be an easy page for you to just simply share that with your people saying, enroll here, name an email. What that means is they're going to get a welcome email to the workshop. They will get call reminders. They will get access right into their own email address of how they access those calls. After the event, there will be emails to say, remember to follow up with the person that sent you here. They're so excited to connect with you. So it's a system that's working so that none of us have to engage in those individual manual reminders with every single human being, because we've got a system working for us so we can stay engaged in live conversation. So that's another huge factor that, to Anna's point, is really separating the Frequency Collective, not just within Healy, but other network marketing companies. And I've been with other network marketing companies. The team environment that you are in is everything. And that's not just from an ease of doing business and resources that are provided. It's the energy and team approach to making things as simple as humanly possible together for everybody that is a part of that team. So that's something that we really want to like instill in everybody in the Frequency Collective, is that this is a magical place to welcome people into, because of the ease and the simplicity that we are really striving to create for everybody on the team, especially when it comes to the business builders. Can we make this as easy as humanly possible for you to be a part of, so that you can excitably invite people into this opportunity, because you know how bulletproof we are, you know how solid these systems are, you know how many things we have working in parallel to us as far as systems are concerned, that you can just plug your people into. And guess what? They can do the same thing. They have access to everything that we are sending out to you, which means you have access to everything you are sending out to them, and so on and so on and so on. And everything now all goes back to Healy corporate information only, so that anytime there's an update in Healy corporate, you're automatically still getting the most real, up-to-date, accurate information, and not really dealing with kind of a PDF here or a workshop over here that may be from 4 years ago, and there's different information now that's come out and it's not really relevant. So don't listen to the part between minute 7 and minute 13, because all that's changed. Like, it just gets weird, right? So we know that if we're constantly putting people towards Healy corporate, even though, guys, I'm not gonna lie, their videos are they're dull, and we're going to provide that feedback to Healy and be like, can we get some energetic characters on these videos, please, so that they're not as dry. But that's the system. And that's what we're going to keep pumping people into, so that they're getting accurate information. The videos are short too. The Healy does a great job of keeping things short, so that we're not be like, oh my God, I got to watch a 27-minute long training video. These videos are like 1 minute, 12 seconds. 3 minutes, 20 seconds, 6 minutes long, like really easy for people to digest. Build your confidence with the device, build your confidence with the business, so that the conversations you're having with other people about the Healy opportunity is easy for you to do, because you're falling back on solid foundation of systems and accurate information and resources that you can count on and feel super confident about, without having to be like, I don't know. Because if that person all of a sudden asks me who, Joanne Simpson is, that they watched a video from in Australia, I'm like, I actually have no idea who this person is. That's not a really awesome way to sell somebody something if I can't back what that person's saying with certainty, which is why we're pulling everything back into Healy corporate and allowing us to be the magic and the personality and the energy that's maybe lacking in some of those videos. But at least we're providing them with information that's accurate, up to date, true, based off their science, based off their research, based off their team, based off their knowledge, as opposed to our perception of it. And that's how we duplicate. That's how we help everything get that much easier. And we can ensure that our team as a whole is all churning on the same machine with our businesses, as opposed to like we've got this conversation happening over here in the Frequency Collective. And this is the information they're sharing. And then someone over here is sharing this, and they're conflicting because two different people have created them and they're not 100% sourced from corporate. We got a problem, because now we're dealing with credibility issues and whether or not we actually know what we're talking about, which is not a good form of sales strategy. So this gives us the confidence in a nutshell. And obviously, if you combine the scorecard concept with just putting everyone in a bulletproof onboarding strategy, pointing everyone in the exact direction they need in order to become like amazing device users and have the best Healy experience ever without trying to guess about where all of these information is coming from. And then build your business with just like bombshell confidence, because you know the space that you're welcoming people into has its shit together. That's a game changer for business building. Come on in, Christy. I see your comment now.
I just want to, sorry, I've been off camera, but like this has been music to my entrepreneurial ears and heart. And I just want to say thank you. And this will be such a differentiator. And I want to like, I know you guys have heard us all say it, but this is like our differentiator is the Frequency Collective, where we can each come together. I have to tell you, my like little masculine, I'm so grateful for you, Sarah. I'm so grateful for your masculine structures. And you're right, it does make the feminine feel safe to come and play. So thank you for this. And I can't even, like, as someone who's been an entrepreneur for 12 years, like I'm like, where if this is the stuff we're building the foundation with now, just imagine what is coming. And so just a message of gratitude and love. And women, if this is your first business you've ever built, like you've picked the right upline and lineage of these, like, just, yeah, these entrepreneurs who've been around the block. And you know, we kind of know what we're talking about, but it feels so nourishing and soulful to come together in this way. I just want to say thank you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. And thank you for inspiring me to expand more into my feminine. I was joking with Anna earlier, and I said, like, you and I are like the polarities on Anna's either side, right? Like with our energy, we've got like high priestess vibes over here with Christy. We've got like dead elk in the bottom of a valley over here with me. And both of us use those in our Healy business and it works. But this is the structure that I love, because we get to play more when we have structure. When we don't have structure, we spend a lot of energy just trying to see if things work, or if we're spending our time on the right things, or spending so much time sourcing information. It's crazy how much that robs business builders of their ability to build their teams. So
and just a reminder, like, you are the brand, you do you. Like, it's so, I love witnessing the polarity, and I land somewhere in the middle, but like I love that we just get to be our authentic selves, and that's the brand. And part of the brand is this incredible layer. And yeah, same for me. So much gratitude for these structures that you've put in place for the Frequency Collective, because it's just allowing us to fly. And we are plugged into the quantum, but this is what we need in order to duplicate in the quantum.
Exactly. So, and that's what Anne and I had a really beautiful conversation about today, and even just yesterday over voice notes when I had to bail on our call yesterday, go find my husband in the bush. It's one thing to be a really powerful network marketer yourself, but we can't confuse being a powerful network marketer with being a powerful salesperson only, because I just so happen to be, I will give myself the credit, I am a phenomenal salesperson. I can sell a hat rack to a moose, is what my grandmother always used to say. And Anna's like, oh my God, she's still talking about animals. The reality is, it's like, that's great, but that's only part of a network marketing business. To be a true powerhouse network marketer and really leverage and experience the quantum magic that network marketing can provide. Healy network marketing is a whole other level. That whole other level of network marketing skill comes from, can I help my team do what I did? And that's where that second layer is of, how do we make this as easy as humanly possible for our teams to be as successful or more successful than I am? And that's the whole basis for all of this is, get us a solid foundation, get us a really powerful place to land, a really confident place to find resources and be able to direct people to, with confidence ourselves in what we're directing people to. The magic that happens with that kind of structure, again, the feminine energy of creativity and like expansion and play and just like joy and all that's what we get to just spend our time on now, because we know we have structure in place to be able to catch and receive all of us in whatever way we choose to show up, and how we brand ourselves and how we engage in people and how we invite people into this opportunity. That's all so unique from person to person. The thing that's the same is our Frequency Collective system that we plug people into. I'm very excited. That's all for me.
I'm so excited. And so what Sarah has beautifully created for all of us will be plugged into our Kajabi and will be sent out. So if you're listening to the replay, if you're here live, please take yourself through these automated email sequences. That part 2, this is the second part. You would have received the first one. This is the up level. Take yourself through it. Pretend you're brand new. You just joined. Take yourself through the welcome sequence and take yourself through the business building sequence if you're choosing to be a business builder in Healy.
Yeah, exactly what Anna just said. Pretend like this is your day one and this is your onboarding. And obviously like this is only 2 months for the Frequency Collective as a whole. So it's not like this is happening a year later. It's like a couple of weeks ago, you got this onboarding and we have, boom, we recognize the holes that were in it and we are giving you a new one that is going to be even better.
Can I
just pretend that it's brand new for you? Go ahead, Christy.
Even if you aren't sure if you're going to build yet, take yourself through it, because you may sign somebody who wants to. So just be familiar with our systems, right? Like, this is the part of network marketing. You never know when someone will be ready for it. Even if they're not saying yes to you now, they may in the future. And you may change your mind too if you are when you're ready to build, right? If we're speaking to the builders, but and just a clarifying question, does that now mean this like onboarding process part 2 will have a business specific kind of, you can sign up and that's where this will live? Like, people who are like joining aren't going to get these Excel spreadsheets right away, correct?
No. So here's how it works, kind of high level. So everybody that was plugged into the Frequency Collective went through like a standard generalized onboarding process of about a week long, where there were emails that kind of drip saying like, here's how you use this, or here's how to do that. And then I just observing conversations was like, we still have so many holes. Like so there's got to be a way that we can bolster that and get ahead of it so that people feel more equipped and confident, whether it's the device or the business or both. So the general sequence still is a thing that no matter what you're coming into Healy for, device, business, both, you're going to get the general onboarding sequence over a period of 8 days when you invest in your Healy device. Within those 8 days, that there's just a new little bit of information coming to you, that we are directing you to your Healy back office. We're drawing very specific attention to this thing that we want you to be equipped with and knowledgeable about in order to maximize your Healy experience. Within those emails, there's a couple of calls to action, invitations to say, if you are interested in building a Healy business, or you're just curious about it, click here. That brings you to another page that is called Quantum Solutions. And it's like a consent saying, Sarah, I'm consenting to receiving these emails from you. I'm interested in this. Don't know if I'm going to partake now, but I kind of want to understand this a little bit more. Name and email. That process on my back end is it's automated, but I'm going to get into that in a second because this is something that you can do too, even if you don't have a system like Kajabi like I do. When someone says, yes, I would actually like to have more information about this, what that does when you opt in through my email sequence is it gives you access to that Quantum Solutions Business Training Center. And all that is entrepreneurial coaching. Whether it's a Healy business or you're selling vitamins or whatever, like the concept is the same. Focusing on who is your target market, how do you market to them authentically, how do you connect to them, how do you sell to them, how do you onboard them, and how do you nourish them. So that's just like a business 101 center there. When you opt into that, what that also is pushing you into is a secondary email sequence that is specific to Healy business. So as soon as you say, yes, I would like to receive these communications about the Healy business, same thing's going to start happening over a period of 8 days. You're going to get an email about this little thing here that's really important for you to know and understand about your Healy business. Next day, it might be a little bit of a tip. I want you to have an honest conversation with yourself about where your level of belief actually is when it comes to the network marketing business model, to the device itself, the product we're using, and yourself, and where we may need to do a little bit more work. This email here that comes on day 3 is going to be about the compensation plan and really helping you fully wrap your head around how to leverage the compensation plan, how it works. This email here that's going to come on another day is going to help you understand, if you're a Healy business builder, how to actually understand the business building components of your Healy back office. So that you know where to find things, how to understand your ranks, how to understand your business volume, how to understand how to place your partners and things of that nature. And again, they're coming in these little bite-sized, one topic at a time emails over the course of a week. Treat it as though it's day 1 for you and set time aside to really sit with those things. The cool thing is those entire email sequences are available to you in your Quantum Solutions Business Training Center. So when you bring on a new person, you can copy and paste those emails and send them to them in that this is the day 1 email. Okay, it's their day 1. Let me copy this, paste it, send it to them in an email. So you're giving them the exact same duplicatable system that we are giving to you. So they have the same onboarding experience you do, which means they're going to ask you much less questions because you're doing your job in providing them with the information they actually need in order to understand the device and the business opportunity as well. So more to come on this. This is actively rolling out with my team right now, and Anna and I just had a meeting on this right before this call. So Anna's, the whole Frequency Collective, anyone that's not direct enrollment of mine is going to be going through this process as well, and we'll have more communication coming out about that in order to help everybody just kind of understand, like, why is this happening now? What are we doing, and what the purpose is. Have you changed the template for the initial follow-up email? Actually, no, I haven't. But thank you for putting that on my radar because I'm going to take a look at this. Are you referring to the email that is sent after you have a conversation with someone, like before they make a purchase? No, but thank you for putting that on my radar because I will take a look at that, because that is something. When I first started, I can for certain say I overcomplicated that process. There's too much information that was going out in those emails that didn't need to be there in order to just have that person click and close that sale. And we don't actually have that in the Quantum Solutions at all. So I will plug that in as a how do I just get someone to click and purchase as opposed to feel like they have to learn more? I probably blocked sales, even though I closed a lot of sales. I for sure probably gave people too much information and it overwhelmed them and probably didn't close a sale as a result of that. So thanks for that reminder. Yeah, I can have that updated before I head out tomorrow, so that if you roll this out to your team, Anna, it'll be there in Quantum Solutions. Thanks for that feedback, Renat. Okay. Anyone have anything else? I know that we're over time, but I want to make sure if anyone's got any questions. Like we're good. Okay, Anna, anything for you to close out with?
just thank you. This is epic, and I'm so excited for all of us. And just keeping things super simple, referring back to videos, and a reminder that we're all entrepreneurs here. This is not an adult daycare. This is self-led leaders leading self-led leaders. Every single question that you have, there is a video explanation. And so the more that we can move into solution-oriented leadership, gosh, imagine the ripple that we can really create. Like, we've dabbled in it and it's fucking epic, but imagine where we're going. Woo!
That's what's so exciting is we were talking about, like, imagine like if we've been able to build this team to what it is in 2 months, imagine if we can really get the duplicatability aspect of this, just hit
Nailed.
it out of the park, like quite literally quantum entrepreneurship we're playing with. So super exciting stuff. So thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate your time today, and I hope that if anyone's on the replay, if you have any questions, tag me in the Circle community. We've got updates there coming about the Circle community, because we've even like tightened that up and updated a lot of things in there to take out a lot of the fluffy stuff. So we'll have more to come on that.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, have an awesome day.
Bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye.